Hello and welcome, and today I am bringing you guys a review of Down Below Beyond by T.A. Bruno. If you have been around long enough, you will know that I love T.A. Bruno's first trilogy, Song of Kamaria. I love it so much. I think his writing is fantastic. I love his imagination. It shines so brightly in the worlds that he makes, and I'm just like, sir, your imagination, it speaks to my soul, okay? And I love his character creations. He gives me what I want most in my sci-fi books. Actual aliens. Like, and this book does not disappoint. I get aliens, I get action, I get heartbreak, I get, laughs, I get all of it. And that makes me happy. Like, he is without a doubt my favorite self-help author. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. He is my favorite. And I will say I encouraged him very much when he was writing this one. It could have been seen as pestering, but I was there rooting him on, waiting for this one to come out, and I am so happy with the outcome of it. So, like I said, lots of action. So much action in this. You are following Lavort. He is a young man who lives on, essentially, I feel like it's essentially a space station of a sort in a particular galaxy where he is a prospector. He goes down to a planet called Tioxy, and he scavenges around for anything that is worth credits, money, and he has a friend who is an enforcer who goes down with him. His name is Bafo. And from there, the two of them stumble upon something that they should not have stumbled upon. And everything you could possibly think of ensues after that. That is the very quick synopsis of what this story is about. Lavort is, I think, a great main character. I really enjoyed him very much. Bafo, I went through the feels with that guy. Okay? 1 minute I was like, oh, I like you. The next minute I was like, I hate your guns. And then the next I was like, no. There was a lot of tears shed at the end of this book. A lot. I went through this book thinking that I was not going to care about a particular character, that I was not going to care about their outcome. I was like, no, I don't care. I don't care what happens to you. If it happens, it happens. It's because it had to happen, and you deserved it. And Bruno was like, no, Alyssa, you're going to cry your eyes out, and you're going to be like, this is the worst thing I've ever read in my life because it's so sad and heartbreaking, and it just tears you to pieces. and that is exactly what happened. I actually, after I finished reading this at like 12:31 in the morning, and I sent him a message apologizing for sending a message like in the middle of the night, and was just like, I just need to tell you that this was just the most beautiful, heartbreaking thing that you have ever written. You are just a masterclass at what you write. Like, you really are. Just this scene, if you've read this, you know what scene I'm talking about. It was beautiful, it was gorgeous, it was heartbreaking. It was not what I was expecting to happen, and I was just like, I was a hot mess. Okay, I can't think too deeply about it because I will probably cry about it again, because every few times that I have thought about it since then, I have teared up a little bit. That is how well Bruno pulled off that final scene with these characters. And that is what I look for in a book, is I want it to still hit me after I've finished it and I decide to think about it. And he did that. So as for all the action is wildly insane. It's easy to follow on top of that. That's one of the things I do love about Bruno's action scenes, is that I never feel lost when I read them. I can understand the flow of exactly what's happening, how it's happening, when it's happening. And again, this one, it was people falling through portals and, guns going off and, just everything you could possibly think of. And it's at like this high-paced rate kind of thing. And sometimes when I think about it, if you are like a big like anime fan, like the high-paced action that you see in an anime scene. Like, those were the vibes I was getting from the action scenes in this. Like, it was so fast, it was so crazy, so wild, something so unexpected, and you're just like, you're here for the ride and you're enjoying it all the way through. The world building that he has in this, so you do not have to read the Song of Kamaria before you read this, which is a fantastic plus. And I think the way that he connected these worlds, because they are connected, the way he connected them, it allows him to have so much versatility in his world without having to force the reader to go and read his other series. And I think that is a skill on its own, because too many times have I picked up another series where I start to read it and you're like, oh, I probably should have read that other series first, and people are like, yeah, you should have. Like, it tells you everything you need to know. This one, it just mentions a piece of that world, and unless you want to know that piece of that world, you can go pick it up. If not, you're completely fine, because it doesn't rely on you having to know that knowledge because of how Bruno puts it into this story. And I think that's fantastic, because this could be an entry point into Bruno's world for people, since it is a standalone. And then if they choose they like it, then they can go read the trilogy, because sometimes people don't want to put, 3 books into a series before they determine if they like an author's work or something. And I really, really like the way that he utilized it for this one and how he decided to connect these worlds, because I think it's very smart. There is a second Easter egg in this one, though, that if you had read Song of Kamaria, you'll catch it. It's not like a super big one where, like, oh my god, you have to read Song of Kamaria so you can get it. It's literally an Easter egg. And I think there are some authors that kind of lose the idea of what an Easter egg is, and it's where it's just like, this item appears, and you're just like, well, that's fancy. Like, if you're just an outside person and you haven't read Song of Kamaria, you're going to come across it and you're like, well, that's fancy. But if you've read it, you're going to be like, I know what that is. And I think those are the best kind of Easter eggs. I don't like when Easter eggs are the kind where everyone else is like, oh my god, did you get it? Because it happened with this character and that character, and it connects back to this character. Like, I just like when it's like an item of something, and you're just like, oh my god. Because that feels like an Easter egg. It doesn't feel like it doesn't force me to have to go and read another series, because it just feels like it's just a random thing, and to someone else you're like, oh my god. So yeah, I appreciated that. The characters in this, they're great, they're fun, there's a wide variety of them. Once again, Bruno has created a ton of aliens. The great thing too about the book is you get come on now. I'm so good at opening book pages, guys. There we go. You get like this lovely little glossary of the different alien races. But the great thing about Bruno and his writing is that even if you don't have the images, if he did not take the time to provide these images, you could still imagine what these characters look like, because his descriptions are just fantastic. And you're able to visualize, especially if you are a visual reader like I am myself, I can picture what I read. I didn't need those images. And because mostly of what I was going off of what he was describing in his book were matching up. And I think that's amazing. I love it because he has such a wide range of aliens that appear in this story. Now, I will say, for some people, there's probably moments in the story where it's going to come off a bit silly, a bit cliche, a bit like, really? And I do think that falls into the friendship portion of this story. A lot of this book revolves around friendship. The themes of friendship, whether they are positive or they are toxic. I think he handles both of them very, very well. At times, there are a couple moments within the positive friendship thing where it feels like, you ever watch one of those animes or cartoons where people just, they meet and they're instant BFFs and they're like, we're gonna save the world and we're gonna do good things because that's what has to happen. Those are the vibes that this book gives, and I am here for it. I love it because I love animes that have that little aspect to them where everyone is just like we're gonna do good things and do the right thing because we're all good people, and we want everything in the world to be better. Like, those are the vibes this has, and I think it's just so fun. It makes the book fun. But then when it starts to talk about the toxic side of friendship, it starts to feel very real, very realistic. Like I said in my written review, you can tell Bruno has some kind of connection and has dealt with friendships of these types before, because it shines very high in the book, and you really see the toxicness that can come out of friendships and what it does to people. And I think he handled it amazingly. And I love the fact that not only did Bruno give a chance for the positive side to shine through, but he allowed the person who was being toxic to have a moment, to have recognition, to face what they've done. And I think that's very important. And I like that he gave that character the opportunity to do so, instead of just flat out not tackling it at all. So overall, this is fantastic. It is great. For me, it's 5 stars, and I love the action. I love the characters. I love the aliens. I want Mr. Bruno. I want a Rest Looney story now. Okay, I want an Ocni story, and now I want a Rest Looney. Okay, they're walking tanks, and I want a story that involves one. He needs to be a main character. It can be a new one, or it can be Bobsy. I don't care. I just want a main story that follows an alien, not a human. Give it to me. So yes, it's great. It's fun. It's fantastic. I recommend Bruno's work like nothing else. This is worth it. It's a lot of fun. Just go into it thinking you're gonna have fun, hopping from world to world to world, seeing all these beautiful planets he makes, meeting all of these amazing aliens, and coming out of it maybe crying like a hot mess. So that is my review for Down Below Beyond by T.A. Bruno. If this sounds interesting to you, or if you've read it, go ahead and leave a comment down below, and I will talk to you guys, like, comment, subscribe, all of those good things, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.